All right, this is a video on sedimentary rocks and how they're formed and how they're named. Okay, a quick review. There are 5 processes to sedimentary rocks. First of all, you need to make the sediment. So we have weathering, and agents of weathering are freezing and thawing, plant roots, rain, rivers, water action, wave action, just a bunch of different types of processes that cause rocks to break down. And then erosion is the process where running water, wind, or ice, or glaciers, or something that causes the sediments to be moved or picked up or carried away. So that first happens, and you get your sediment. Okay, the second set of processes cause the sediment to be put together as a rock. The first process is deposition, and so deposition sometimes is confused with erosion because the same things that cause erosion can help to cause deposition. Okay, deposition is the process where sediment settles out of water or wind carrying it. Okay, erosion, the water and wind actually carry the sediment. Deposition, the water and wind is carrying the particles, but the particles are settling out or being deposited out. Okay, so here are the particles falling out. Okay, once they fall out, then they're compacted. Compacted happens when a bunch of particles will land on top of new or older particles, which will land on top of older particles, and so on. And that pressure, just right above the surface, it's not really extremely deep, but that pressure causes the material to get packed closer together, and that process that presses the sediment together is called compaction. Then, while this putting the sediments closer together happens, some of the minerals that are around the rock can dissolve in water, and when the water evaporates, the minerals recrystallize, the minerals get sticky, and the minerals have natural cement characteristics, and they cement the sediment together to get a rock. So again, the first set of processes makes the sediment. The second set of processes makes the rock itself. Okay, the next page talks about the 3 types of rocks, the next 2 pages. And they are clastic, organic, and chemical. Now, the way that they decide, or the way that they determine what kind of sedimentary rock that it's going to be, the way they decide it's going to be a clastic sedimentary rock, or the way they decide it's going to be an organic sedimentary rock, or the way they decide that it's going to be a chemical sedimentary rock is by the type of sediment that is in the rock. Okay, there are 3 types of sediment. Okay, the first type of sediment is pieces of rock. They call them like rock fragments. Pieces of rock. Okay, pieces of rock are going to form clastic sedimentary rocks. Pieces of rock are going to form clastic sedimentary rocks. Okay, sometimes you can see the pieces. They're really, 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 really big. Really big. And the picture in your book, conglomerate is an example. The pieces of rock, they are actually little pebbles, so they're pebble size. So we can have different sizes of pieces. So the conglomerate is pebble size. So if you want to realize that there's different sizes, there's one like pebble size. Sandstone is also made of pieces of rock, but it is sand size, a lot smaller than pebbles. And then things like shale or mudstone, if you want to add that, because this is an example of a sedimentary rock. Where do I want to put that? Mudstone. I guess I'll put it right here. This is another example. Okay, they have even smaller pieces of rock. It's like silt or clay. And to kind of give you an idea of the size of the particles, if you could take flour that you bake with and spread it out, 1 particle of flour is like a particle of silt or clay. So this is really, really, really small. And when you look at a piece of shale or a piece of mudstone, you might not even see, you probably won't see the individual particles. And shale and mudstone are going to feel a lot smoother than the sandstone and the conglomerate. Okay, so these rocks on page 324, the shale, the sandstone, the conglomerate, and the breccia, and then I added mudstone, those are all clastic rocks because they are made of pieces of rock. Okay, the second type is organic rocks. Okay, the sediment for organic rocks is remains of living things. That's the type of sediment. And when the sediment is remains of living things, such as coal is a fossil fuel, and it is the remains of decaying plants and other organisms that have been squeezed together over millions and millions of years. Okay, that's an organic rock. Okay, so if the sediment type is remains of living things, it's organic. Okay, so coal is an example. So are some types of limestone. This limestone right here, you can actually see the fossils. So it's actually fossiliferous limestone. Fossiliferous. And then also another type of limestone called chalk limestone. I'm going to write that up here. It is also organic because it is made from the remains of seashells. And it has calcite in it, and that calcite comes from seashells, so it's considered to be organic. Okay, so that's the organic sedimentary rock. Let's do the last one, which is on the last page of this. Okay, this is chemical. And chemical means that the sediment can dissolve in water. Okay, so limestone can also form when calcite dissolves in lakes. Okay, so this kind of limestone, when it's made from calcite that is dissolved and it's precipitated out, that's a limestone that is a chemical limestone rock. So the type of sediment in this type of rock is sediment that dissolves in water. That's the third type of sediment. Okay, that makes a chemical sedimentary rock. Okay, the kind of limestone that has calcite that comes from dissolved calcite instead of from seashells is called common gray limestone. So it's a chemical rock. Another example of a rock that is a chemical sedimentary rock is rock salt. It also, the salt dissolves in water, and then it precipitates out when the water evaporates. It's deposited, and you get the halite, or the rock salt that forms. So those are examples of chemical sedimentary rocks. Again, sedimentary rocks are formed with sediment. There are three types of sediment: pieces of rock, they form clastic rocks; remains of living things, they form organic rocks; and sediment that dissolves in water, and they form chemical sedimentary rocks. Okay, so tomorrow when you're in lab, there's going to be sedimentary rocks out, and we're going to be looking at those, and we're going to try to identify the type of sediment, identify the type of sedimentary rock. We're also going to see if it reacts with hydrochloric acid, because calcite reacts with hydrochloric acid, and that's a way to help you identify limestone. And so that's all the notes on this section.